All right, this is cis256. This module, we're going to talk about data visualization using some Python libraries, in particular the pylab or matplotlib and plotly. So let's get started. So far, we have talked about some basic Python applications and data structures. Now it's time to put things together and use some libraries to analyze and visualize data. So some of the popular Python libraries can provide numerical computation like NumPy and Seaborn and Pandas. These are the toolbox for data scientists, right? And we're going to talk about more data scientist toolkit in another course that we're going to offer later on cis256 data science, data analysis track. But in this course, we're going to just do a very brief introduction to data analysis and such, all right? So in the homework, we'll touch stochastic computation and simulation as an example. So you can get a feeling how to simulate some experiment using Python toolkit. All right. So yeah, let's get started. Some pylab is one of the libraries for you to plot data into the graph. So if you have never used a library, as you can see, the library is need to be imported. And as PLT is basically a syntax to make the PLT as a shorthand syntax for instead of typing pylab, you can type plt dot procedure name. So it's gonna be saving you some keystrokes, right? That's the purpose of that. And plus, if you haven't installed it before in your local computer, you probably need this command to install matplotlib. Sorry, typo. So I'll show you an example here right now. Okay, let's go back to here. So I have some code here. Basically, you can import as PLT. And like I said, if you haven't done that before, you can do Python 3 -npip install matplotlib. So it will install this for you. I already installed, so it's not gonna install for me, but it will install all the packages and relevant dependencies to a system, so you can use it. So now in this example, I have 5 different lists, and I'm generating some fake data, like 0 to 30, and I'm gonna append to each line. So I'm gonna plot this y axis as 2 lists. One is x-axis, one's y data. But I'm also gonna make sure that these two are same size, so it will plot correctly. So if I run it, and on another window, I'm gonna drag it here, you can see that this plot is shown. So on my MacBook, if you don't use this show command, it will not show on my screen. So you may need that show command. All right, so click on that, and I can exit. I can also plot all other plots, right? So let's do that. 2, 3, 4. So the x-axis is the same, but I'm going to plot quadratic and plot cubic and plot exponential. All right. So these are different charts. Let's try it again. And as you can see, let me, it will show different plot on one graph, right? So this is a very basic concept. So pylab is very straightforward. You create 2 different sets of data, and you can plot x and y two-dimensional. All right. So as you can see, if I plot everything into one graph, because the exponential data is really large, you kind of lose the details if you look at the linear or even quadratic graph, right? So how to solve that? And so basically, if you overlapping data with a very wide range, it's not going to help to see the details because the scales are different, right? So we can create individual subplot and just plot separately. So in other words, I can do a figure, and for each graph, I put into different figures. So if you do that, you can see these two are in different figures, okay? And then, and they can automatically be scaled, so you will see them clearly. So that's figure. You can separate plots into different figures. And you can also label them, right? So in the figure, you have a string to label the graph. You can also label X and Y label. Here I can do X label and Y label. So if the result looks like this. And you can also control the display parameters. You can change the color or style of data sets. You can change the width of lines using subplots. So here is some more things you can do. You can not only just do figure, but also clear the graph, plot with more parameters. Like this is the one symbol, black dash, and label it. And you can even put a legend on it, right? Legend and put a location, upper left, cubic, and stuff. So if we let's just use that, and let's see what we can do here. What we do here is we can do this. So instead of just plot them all in one place, right? We can comment this. We can do figure and title linear versus quadratic. Oh, this is because yeah. And okie dokie. I don't need this. So I save it. And let's see what's going on. Did it show here? I need to close this. All right. Let's run again. All right, so didn't close the previous. So you can see this is a nicer graph with exponential and cubic in one plot. However, we labeled this, right, cubic. So let's just put this in one side and look at the code and look at the graph, right? So for the linear quadrant, so the title is called linear versus quadratic, and okay, there's three graphs here. 1, 2, 3. Well, this is a linear with two graphic, linear versus quadratic, and you can, so this is the linear, the blue line, blue dash, blue solid line, okay, and then this red dot is a quadratic, so you use a quadratic label, and this is legend, and you put legend in the upper left. And then you can plot cubic versus exponential. Cubic is the green triangle, and exponential is red dash, 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 right? And legend is, if you don't specify location, it will be automatically plot into the upper left, right? And you can see this graph is actually dynamic. You can actually zoom in, I guess, right? You can move it, go back to, there's a lot of control, adjust the plot, right? You can just do this and double space, all kinds of things. So it's a pretty good tools, you can see, right? So it's much nicer to be able to plot this in one graph. Okay, go back to the slide. You can change the data display here. All right, and here is the result. Okay, you can also move this to the right-hand side. So if I move this legend, you can, you can assign line width. Another examples here, right? So this different line width. Okay, you can also change the scales. Log scale for the quadratic, so it become, the exponential become linear, right? Because this is log scale. The y-axis is log scale. Cubic become this log, right? So yeah, change the scale, change color, width, and legend size. So okay, all right. So let's give you example to put all these functions together, right? So how to visualize results, help guide computation and research. Let's try this simple example. When we are planning for a retirement, we can save a fixed amount M each month, and with the compound rate R, percent of income on investment each month. And your question is how long it takes for you to retire, right? So give the time to retire, how big a retirement fund you have by the time you invest it. So I'll define a function called compound interest. So what compound interest is means you invest the initial money plus the interest into the next month and keep accruing interest rate that way. So basically, to put into code, when you have rate and terms means how many months, right? Initially, you put the savings into, it's zero, right? And base is zero. And the rate, because it's annual rate, APY, annual percentage yield, you divide by 12 to get the monthly rate. So that's M rate. And in, let's say 12 months or 70 months, right? Doesn't matter. For each month, the base increased by the number I guess term 0, 1, 2, 3, right? That's each month. And the savings is the previous savings. That's the savings minus 1 is the latest savings times 1 plus M rate. Why 1 plus? Yeah, it's 1% increase, then you have 101% of total savings at the end of the month, right? So that's that, and plus monthly investment you save, because you keep adding the monthly money, right? Like you save $100 a month, then that's the money you keep adding it to each month, and finally return the base and savings. Okay, let's run this. saving. Hi. All right, it's just so let's give them monthly. If you have put $100, rate I don't know 0 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 30%, and term, let's say 60 months, right? And so base, save, go to that, and print base f string base. Okay, and print f string save. Okay, so let's run this. Wait. Let me close this. Oh, it's calculating. All right, so you can see this is the base increase. So basically each month, right? And the savings is $100 first month, 202, so 07415. You can see it grows every month until it goes to 60, like a year, 5 years later. If you save $100 each month, you get $13,600 at the end. Right, that's pretty significant. Now, of course, if you only save $100 a month, right? If you save 1,000, that's much more. So that's how you calculate the compound rate. Okay, let's go back to the example. So let's display results in this function. In this function, I'm going to display graphically. So we already look at this in just to print out data, but rather than print this out, we're going to graphically represent this retirement. So it's much easier. So I have a different function display retirements monthlies, and PLT. So we have to import pylab as PLT, right? So now it will print. So we don't do that. Instead of print, we're gonna just do this. So we're gonna display the retirement monthlies in the graph. I'm giving different monthly investment. So we'll try $500 a month, $600 a month, until up to $1,100 a month. And fixed rate when 0.05, right? So it's 5% interest rate, and the terms is 40 years, 40 times 12. And in this function, we want to try different investment, right? So monthly is different. Every time monthly investment, you can put into retire function and get X and Y values. So X value, remember, is the base, right? So it's like month 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. And Y value is your amount of money in the bank at the end of each month. Okay, and you plot XY, label is retire plus string monthly. So it will give you, for each different monthly investment, it will give you different plot and the legend. So let's run this and see what's going on. I probably need to do at the end plt.show. on a MacBook, it's required. I don't know why. All right, let's run again. Invitation error. Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna do it not in the functions. Instead, I'm gonna do in here. Okay. Save it. And hang on. All right. So let's take a look. So from our analysis, you can see this is a beautiful chart. If you invest $500 a month, you will get this curve, this yield curve over 40 years. And that's 1100. So it's very clear how the initial monthly investment will affect your final yield, right? So this is one examples that using Matplotlib, it will help you analyze the data. So let's go back to the slides. And this is the plot. So if it's a plot, you can actually see the impact of increased monthly contribution to the result, right? So you get at 40 years, you get 750K versus $1.6 million. That's monthly saving range from $500 to $1,100. So what is effect of growth of investment? If you want to investigate the fixed monthlies, but the interest rate is different, then you can do this, right? So you can do this interest rate related analysis here. Basically, let's go back to the console. So for this, you can do right. And plot here. Instead of investigating the different monthlies, you can do different rates. Wait. All right. So this would be monthly. All right. So yeah, let's take a look and save it and run. Did I close the previous drawing? No, I didn't. Close previous drawing and it will show. Okay. So this is the result, right? The green, so they all invested $800 a month. However, I have green that shows 7% rate, and red is 5%, blue is 3%. So you can see the rate increase, compound rate, it also has a very big effect in our final investment, right? So no. Okay, that's the result. So next, we want to know if we look at both the effect of increasing the rate and the investment. So if you want to combine both, you can do this, right? Monthly rates, right? So you have two for loops. One is for monthly, one is for rate, and you can call this again and plot them use months and rate and legend. So you want to do both the monthly and the rate and use different colors. Now this is the result, okay, with different monthly retirement and different interest rate. So you can do multiple factors. As you can see, as you have more parameters, it's very hard to distinguish because you are overlapping many graphs. You can just analyze differently that we did before, but you can also try visually separate effects. How to do that? Well, you can do monthly labels with RGB K and rate labels like dash, dot, and dash, and then you can just put them into a different labels. So basically to separate them. And if you do that, you can see it's pretty clear if that like these four is for one investment, right? 700, and this is for wait no. These are for like different, so these four different color is for different monthly investment with same interest rate, and different different type of curve is for different interest rate. So it's very you can separate them, group them, okay? So it's easier to see a group plots now. The color encodes monthly contribute and the format encodes growth rate. So yeah, using Matplotlib or pylab, it is a good tool that you can use to increase your presentation. All right, so next, Plotly is another set of libraries that you can install. Use pip install Plotly, and you can go to Plotly website to look at more example. It can have a very powerful graph and chart. Okay, so this is just image gallery. They can show, you can do pie chart, bar chart, and all kinds of nice dashboard thing. And the nice thing about Plotly is that we'll have you a server that you can actually service that data online and everybody can see it online. So basically it has a small service online, okay? So this is some example of Plotly. Like Plotly Express can be used to plot some existing data, like it has some Gapminder life expectancy in Canada, and you can query the data right from the library. So you get country, Canada is life expectancy with term of year in the data frame, and then you can plot them. You can use line graph with the data frame with x-axis is year, x label is year, y label is life expectancy, and the title and show. So you can see it's also very similar to pylab, but it's very you can also plot different countries, Oceania, New Zealand, right? And then there's another example. You can do a lot of different formalities, right? They use like dictionary to have keyword pair to show if you want a grid or zero line and tick, etc., right? So you can control how the graph shows using different parameters. You can plot stock prices, and you can also have your own data, like list, and you can using figure graph objects to add the traces, right? Scatter plot, y, x, and name, and line style, and you can plot very beautiful charts with this is temperature fluctuation in each year. Okay, and then you can have bar chart. Again, the data frame from the queries directly from the network, and you can actually type bar chart. Okay, and this is bar chart for what is the GDP per capita for each country. Okay. And you can even generate animated plot, right? This is really powerful. And with few lines of code, you can actually say, I want the animation of the changes of the data throughout the year. So this is a result for live, the each year the GDP gap over a year. You can actually go online and see this graph. So in summary, MATLAB, pylab, and Plotly are the two example that you can analyze the data, simulate the data, and show the data graphically. And there's much more thing to learn, but as you can see, using libraries, all you need to do is to read the documentation and try some examples. You should be able to master it. All right, so that's very easy. Thank you, and see you next time. Bye.